We are here with Lukas Gage, author of I Wrote This for Attention by Lukas Gage. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Am I your first author on Good Noticings?
Yes, our first guest in general.
Oh, wait, really?
The first time we've had to pull out 3 leather armchairs.
Guys, I'm honored.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We're honored to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
I want to get right into it.
I
think Ashley and I actually had an identical question when we started the book. You open with a quote. I just want to read the quote for the team. It matters not what you've done, but what you do with what you've done for others. Noah Centineo.
Yeah.
Centineo. Thank you.
That's
and
my
can I
boy.
just ask, what does that mean to you?
No idea.
Okay.
Absolutely no idea. I love Noah, and I was asked to come up with a quote that I wanted to have for the front of my book, and nothing was speaking to me. I looked online on Goodreads, on all these places, and nothing was hitting for me. And I had done a show with Noah like almost a decade ago, I think. And that quote, it stays in my brain. I feel like I know what he's talking about, or I know what he meant to say. I think I get the sentiment behind it, and I understand saying something and it coming out a completely different way, and just kind of setting the tone that this is going to be a tonal shifting book, and it's going to be cuckoo.
He's kind of your George Bush.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he launched 1,000 ships, and they couldn't figure out how to get the tanks out. You know.
I love Noah. No, I think, and he has such good humility and can laugh at himself and be like, what the fuck was I talking about? And I feel like I can relate to that part of myself that has definitely said some shit on TV or in an interview where I'm like, what is wrong with me?
It is, I will say, as someone who has to hear herself back, sometimes you're like, what the fuck could I have meant by that?
Right.
Oh my God. When people go, oh, I've been thinking about that thing you said about this thing. And I go, oh, you gotta remind me.
Don't bring it up.
I say a lot of things about a lot of things. What are you talking about?
So we want to know, you're 30 years old. You just turned 30 this year. Congrats.
In my 30s now. Thank you.
Welcome. Us too. Why now? 30 is famously kind of young to write a memoir.
Very young.
What made you want to do it now?
You know, I've always wanted to write a book. It was a thing that I dreamed of when I was a kid, lying to my journal, which I talk about in the book, and something I always wanted to do. I had started to write screenplays, and then the strike happened. So I couldn't act, couldn't write for TV and film, and I just thought now is the perfect time for a premature memoir. And I will say, it is young. It is like, who cares and who's asking for it? But somebody is out there. But also
we read it.
Thank you guys. I loved Julia Fox's and Jeanette McCurdy's books, who they came out right on the cusp of 30 and entering that era. And those books to me were incredible. So I said, screw it. Why not?
It reminded me of a Julia Fox and then also even a Kat Marnell.
Ooh, I love Kat Marnell.
Or a Caroline Calloway. There is something about
You're
being
giving me
in
the best
middle of
compliments
it.
ever.
Like being in the middle of it where it's still fresh and you haven't been able to there is something when you can't yet tie a knot at the end of a book.
Yes.
That it feels more truthful because you're not looking at it through the retrospective of a narrative.
100%. And the person who has it all figured out, that's boring to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want someone who's doesn't know. There isn't a clean ending. There isn't a clean bow at the end, like you're saying. And I'm still figuring it out. I'm still a work in progress. And it's like a part 1.
Yeah, I feel like it felt written in a good way without an agenda. You weren't trying to sell us some. I mean, so many of the books we've read at the end of the book, it's and that's why I started this business that you can buy a course about. And so I think it felt very honest in that way. I also felt like there was a lot from your childhood that you wanted to put in here that if you kind of get further down the path of your career, I think the more celebrities you've interacted with, the more you're past it and the more it feels kind of out of place to fill your memoir with just exactly what it was like growing up.
Yeah.
And this book is a lot about your relationship with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if your dad has read the book?
No, definitely not.
He hasn't read it, or you?
No, he definitely has not read the book.
Okay.
No, for sure not. And I don't know if he will. And I know, legally I had to get some approvals for some things. And luckily I was grateful to convince him of that after he had read some kind of People US magazine thing. That is it US or Us magazine? Oh, whatever. Us, US, whatever. Somewhere
we are
some
the
magazine.
US,
We're the
so.
US.
It's us.
It's us, guys. Something that, it was very it was like Simon & Schuster wrote daddy issues and a dad that loves tits. So he was like, oh, that's not great. I don't even want to know what's going to be in the book. But luckily to his, I got to give him credit. Like, he dipped out and he still agreed to let me talk about it. So, I mean, that was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It is crazy.
Cool.
I mean, I have to say, to have a stepmother who like won't meet you was one of the crazier things I've seen.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what she says to herself to justify that?
God, I have no idea. I've heard variations of her narrative around it, but I think ultimately, let's be honest, it has to do with money and it has to do with, having to split that. So I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. But I don't know. I've never still haven't met her.
I have to say, I was really like struck by what a tough time your mom has had of it in terms of like your oldest brother, who's really not in the book.
Yeah.
That man passing away.
Mm-hmm.
Then her second husband struggling with mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And then, having this third marriage that didn't work out. And like the way that she really persevered for her boys. And I think your love for her really comes through in this book. What was her response?
I think for her, it was hard. It's hard to read about the most traumatic shit happening to all of her kids that she loves. And as a mom, you want to protect your kids. And it was hard for her to not feel like she failed as a mom. And it killed me when she first read it. Just assuring her that she was truly my mom and my dad and everything. And we have so much love for her. And she did the best that she could. And ultimately, the world is a crazy place and you can only do so much as a parent. And I think she gave it a second read and then it was less emotional for her. But I think the stuff with her kids is really, really hard for her to read.
I know. I mean, I know. And from reading about yourself online, there's something where like, even if what they're saying isn't bad, you get that like pang in your heart. And if you're not used to it, if you haven't had the experience before of having to like inure yourself to not just even criticism, just seeing yourself talked about behind your own back in that weird public way. It takes a lot to like take a deep breath and even figure out what's being said.
Also, when anything is like anything is negative, regardless of the context, it's so hard to read it and not feel like blamed almost. Like there are so many times where it is just kind of a reality of the situation, but I could see how reading it would be really difficult for her. But also I think she comes across
I think she does too. I know she's like
she seems really fun.
She's really fun and I feel like I've inherited so much of her and so much of me, so much of who I am as a person is because of her and I'm so grateful that I had her as a mom and like even the negative not like the shortcomings of her and the other people that I feel like I have either it's been passed on to me or shortcomings that I just was born with end up being the things that are kind of the most beneficial for me as an actor and a writer and they're also just good stories.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I want to talk about you calling yourself a pathological liar at 6.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What? Okay. I guess I feel it feels mean to yourself because what is lying if not just like fiction writing with yourself as the main character
manifesting.
Or manifesting. Yeah. Do you feel like a liar? Do you mean it with negative connotation?
No, because I think that like I look at it with humility and I look at it with it's kind of iconic that I lied to my own journal. Like I was lying to myself. But I think it was like I wanted to create a narrative and I wanted to create the truth. I wanted to recreate what was actually happening for me, but I also think I was an embellisher and a storyteller from day one. Like I loved to do that. So I think I'm not hard on myself for it, but I think looking back on the book and finishing it, I can reframe why I did it. It's less of a mystery to me. It makes sense why I lied. It makes sense why I was a chaotic, audacious, crazy, brash kid that did all these things. But at first, when I think I started the book, there was some judgment that came with it. We're like, what is wrong with me? Why do I lie to myself?
What do you think the book helped you figure out about yourself that you maybe hadn't really thought about in therapy? Like, what were the therapeutic breakthroughs that the book brought you?
I think it goes hand in hand with what I was saying. Like, there's just a sense of understanding all these things. And also, I think for so long I kind of wanted to hide and was shameful about my adolescence and the crazy things that I had done. And now I'm like, I am so glad I was that kid. I'm so glad I fucked up and made mistakes and I did these things and I was impulsive and some of it's not great behavior and some of it got me in trouble, but some of it also led me to where I am today. And I love that kid. I love that younger Lukas. And I think before I was I was harder on him. And maybe like you're picking up on a little bit judgmental about that liar.
Everyone lies. And I also feel like there is that like fostering that audaciousness within yourself is what created your career, because there are some people who have that kind of compulsion when they're younger and they like beat it out of themselves, and then they're older like waiting for permission. And especially in a career like acting, like you said in your book, if you wait for it to happen, you had to pretend to be living in Louisiana and then it happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And like that's the liar kid, the kid who said that you lived in Louisiana.
Well, if I didn't lie about that one thing, if I didn't lie on my resume, lie to get into the door, lie on the phone call with these agents, I wouldn't be where I am today. I would not be sitting in this chair. And it's not to say like I'm promoting everyone to lie, but also it's a little white lie. If you need to get into the room, I didn't know what else to do. I didn't have any connections or any way in. So there's good lies.
I mean, it's LA lying for sure.
LA
Which
lying.
is like being like you met someone at a party, you said, oh, that's a funny joke. And then the next day you go, we're writing a screenplay together.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so with kind of so much experience writing what isn't true.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of trouble sitting down to write the truth for this book, or is some of this a bit embellished?
So I write in the very beginning, like some of the storytelling is embellished because just for the sake of storytelling and to have a cohesive story and, whatever. Everything that's in here is 100% real. Everything happened. The conversations are the things that are embellished.
Well, you don't remember the exact
I don't remember what I said when I was a kid. So I think the screenwriter, actory part of me used that dialogue thing to, punch up things and like make the dialogue funnier and juicier, but everything that's in there is real. There's no lies.
I felt that like the dialogue was very like cleverly used to show like how funny your mom is and like the way that she's always like, you guys are breaking into a boarding school and she's like, but don't curse. I want to actually, we were debating this before you got here. The Utah boarding school that you guys went to for Tessa, was that like a Provo style, like a Paris Hilton style?
It's exactly, yeah. Okay. It was all connected.
You in.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah. No further questions, just a little bit of being right.
Yeah, there's a lot of people from the SoCal community that I feel like get sent to those Provo-esque Utah places, and they're horrible.
They're hard. Have you been able to see like what Paris has been doing with?
Yeah, and I've reached out to her and talked to her about it. Not to name drop, but like that
Claire started
it. He started it. She really has been a huge advocate for taking it down, and what she's been doing for it is amazing. In those places, like I've just seen so many people that I love be tortured there, and like they make the vulnerable feel even worse about themselves and even crazier, and they don't help people, they make them worse.
No, and something that really struck me about you said with your experience in the wilderness program, which I think is like a variation, is that so many of the former students come back to teach, and you have to think, well, nobody's receiving proper therapy or even proper training. So now you have fucked up people who have been torturing fucked up people
100%
with like full permission to torture them, and then letting that cycle continue until until everybody dies. Like
100%.
It's like frat hazing, where you just, it's now the seniors are torturing the freshmen, but the seniors are now like in control of the lives of the next generation of kids who just needed someone to listen to them.
Yeah, they did, and they weren't that crazy. And it's like that common cliche saying hurt people, but like you're 100% right. They never worked through their shit, and they just became they're not qualified for this job, and now they're just taking out their trauma and their abuse onto like the next generation and passing it down. And I'm like, I think we've come a long way, and Paris has been helpful in taking these places down, but the fact that was so common is insane to me.
And it's such a perfect system of, we were just talking about Wendy Williams' conservatorship. It's a lot like the conservatorship. When you have someone captive because they're mentally untrustworthy, then they can't get themselves out, because by default, the person in charge is like, well, we knew they were crazy.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you can say. I want to get, speaking of passing down generational trauma, your experience at camp being molested by, have you heard from the other person that was a part of that?
No, I have. Unfortunately, I was so young. I don't even know where I would be able to reach out to her, and I hope she's okay. And I have no.
I wonder if it'll be cathartic for her to hear, like,
maybe
we all agree that was fucked up.
Yeah, no, and I feel like that was such a crazy thing for me. Is there's such a willingness that there's such a willingness when you've been molested at a young age, because you don't do anything, or you like allow it to happen, and you're confused, and it's crazy that it took me later in life to figure out that was wrong and not use like a joke to be like, oh yeah, everyone gets molested, like whatever, who cares? But like, it was insane that I had to actually have it spelled out to me in my late 20s. Like, no, that's not normal.
Well, I do think something that happens to me, and Ashley like talk about this a lot. There's so much joking, and I feel like with Twitter, the quote unquote like normalization of things, there is this feeling of like, well, who hasn't been molested by an uncle? But it actually is like, well, not enough people that you don't have to feel shame, but not so many people that if it happened to you, you don't need to address it.
Exactly.
But it's hard to strike that balance of being like, a lot of people have been molested. It's not your fault.
Right.
But you also do need to tell somebody so that you can process.
Yeah. No, and I think I just plowed through that as a kid, and I just went on autopilot.
I feel like especially it being like your first sleepaway camp experience, it's so complicated. Like you were talking about the complex emotions of it in the book. When it's a counselor, it's your first like sleepaway camp, it's like a dose of freedom.
Yeah.
So you feel more adult, you want to be the adults. Like the counselors at overnight camp seem so cool.
Yeah, they were.
And so it's like this horrible abuse of power where it's like, I feel like I'm a grown up and I want to be like you, who's a more grown up. And then they're assaulting you.
Yeah. No, it's horrible. And most of them, I will say, like, I loved them and I thought they were my role models as kids, and like they really, which is also makes it so much worse that someone abused that power. But like a lot of them were really helpful in the acting and the filmmaking and like were the coolest people in the world to me.
And he was Australian too. It's true what they say, a nation of criminals.
All criminals. All convicts.
Keep them out of our
island
country.
Of convicts.
So I have to ask, we're talking about truth. We're talking about like the multiple experiences. Of course, you read a memoir. There's many people involved. I believe that everything you wrote was like true. There's, my truth, their truth, the actual truth. Which of the moments in the book was hardest for you in terms of being like, I think they haven't experienced or a perceived version of events that's like most different from how I feel?
That's a good question. I think, I feel like I do a pretty decent job of not playing the victim and really owning all the terrible things that I've done. Like there's no villain in the story. Everyone has really good traits and bad traits. I'm sure like one of my exes, sure is like, fuck you. I don't know.
I mean, that's always
the case. I think it was important for me to own my parts and own where I had the shortcomings and where I made the mistakes and yeah, that's what comes to mind, honestly.
I want to give you credit. I feel like even the character of Sean,
that's
like a real person that that raised you.
The character of Sean.
But even him, he's going to jail for fraud, and you're kind of like, he's not a bad guy. And I'm like, yeah, he wasn't ever so bad. He was flipping you off in that loving way.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's what it's all like. Everyone has their bad thing. The mom's the gambleaholic. My brother's the heroin addict. I'm definitely this chaotic teen. My dad was absent. Everyone has. My stepdad went to prison. Everyone has their thing, but I think everyone also has. I really tried to explore their humanity and really tried to showcase their areas of like there's so much love and how much we care about each other, even with our flaws and all the mistakes that we made. I hope is apparent in the book.
I mean, I think it really is apparent in the book. So obviously, one of the more like publicized instances in your life, getting married on reality TV, on someone else's reality TV show.
Very crazy.
And after therapy, like we've had this breakthrough. I do these manic intense relationships.
No.
Right. This one.
Through the end of this book, I said, oh, this is when that relationship starts. But it turns out it wasn't that relationship.
Yeah.
Then you go to therapy. Then that relationship starts.
Yeah. I think I have to actually say it in a line, like, this is not this relationship at the very start of the chapter.
I totally was bamboozled. I told Ashley, I'm at the part where he's with his ex-husband, and she goes, oh, no, that's a different... The ex actually is a different person altogether.
Yes.
Have you been single since?
Since your divorce? Since the divorce?
How chic. What a fun thing to call. Like, how long was that relationship all in all?
5 months.
Wow.
God.
And you get a divorce out of it.
I should have gotten
Who's
married
working
to my
harder
ex.
than Lukas Gage? He really is the hustler of Hollywood.
The hustler of Hollywood. I mean, I think divorce, be saying I'm a divorcee is kind of chic.
That's so cool.
It's kind of iconic.
With the loafer, it
loafer.
matches. It matches your outfit, to be
And
honest.
especially
Thank you so
like
much.
being newly 30. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. You get it out early. The first one's a practice round. I've had relationships since. I haven't had something so intense and fast moving like that. I'm really, really taking my time.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And are your queer baiting days behind you?
I mean, I got married on the Kardashians to a guy. What else
How
do you
much
want from
gayer
me?
does it
How
get?
gay does it- I think someone asked me in an interview, like, so, like, are you gay? And I'm like, what? I don't know how much gayer could that be? I'm in fur getting married on the Kardashians to a man. What do you want from me? Jesus.
Well, I have to ask a question. So you talk a lot about being very lonely as a kid and being bullied and not having very many friends. You changed schools because of it at one point.
Yeah.
It seems, and I know that Instagram is the realest thing there is, the realest metric of somebody's personality.
Be real.
Yeah.
You seem deeply popular in social now. What is working for you now that didn't work then? You seem like one of the more popular people in Hollywood.
Well, again, those are curated moments, and I feel like I still lead a really lonely existence. Like I really do. I do look like I'm having fun, and I do have a lot of fun, and I finally feel like I have a core group of friends, which feels counterintuitive that I found it in Hollywood, where everyone like ruins each other's lives and are backstabbers.
But you also found a lot of people that you have stuff in common with, like the life ruiners and the backstabbers.
Exactly. Like
all my people.
All my peoples. We're in middle school and high school. The only thing we had in common was getting fucked up with each other. So I do feel like I have such a good core unit, but I do still feel like very lonely and very sad at a lot of times. And I was just talking about this with another actress where we were just away from home for so long, and we're like, it's so lonely. Like, and I'm so grateful that I get to work and go to these cool places, but it does get really sad, and you spend a lot of time with yourself, and you have to like go to these summer camps, if you will, and like make new friends and find your community over and over
And with
again.
like the power dynamics too.
Yeah.
Like it's all there.
Yeah.
It's
I'm constantly looking for my father on set. I am looking for daddy behind the monitor every day to tell me I did a good job and that he's proud of me.
And I mean, the thing about like a film is you're set up with this director who's actively giving you like constant feedback.
Yeah. Who's literally your dad or mom. A mom dad for
mom daddy.
I think we can be honest and look at Hollywood and say mostly dad.
It's mostly a dad. It's mostly a dad.
But what if someday Nicole
or
Kidman
Greta Gerwig?
Nicole Kidman, she's trying. She's trying.
And I have to ask, you're diagnosed with BPD in the book. How is it going for you now? Do you feel like you've found tricks to manage it? Do you have advice for other people?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I wanted to talk about it because it's so stigmatized, and I had so much shame about it, and I felt like I had this like scarlet letter, you know, getting that diagnosis where I was like, oh, don't tell anyone that you're, you know, crazy. And that's kind of the reason why I wanted to talk about it more, because there was definitely moments where I was being crazy and being manic, and like, you know, I was on the wrong dosage of things and not getting the right help that I needed and doing things that exasperated these symptoms. And so for me, I think it's like, it's such an interesting personality disorder because it is all rooted in trauma. And it's like, there's not like a perfect fit. It's bespoke to each person, like medication and therapy style. So I finally, after years of blowing up my life, finally found the right thing that works for me. And I still have my moments, and I'm still like, gonna sometimes have these intense relationships that I have to check myself on and like remind myself to take my time and have my friends kind of be guidelines to me and be like, hey, you're moving too quick, man, and listen to them this time. But honestly, like, I have found for me personally, and I don't want to speak on anyone else, but for me, like, the smallest dosage of medication was the thing that worked for me. Like, I think I was thrown this cocktail of like the strongest meds and like 5 of them to do. And it was making me worse. So I finally did the therapy and I did the work, and then I'm like microdosing SSRIs.
Well, and I have to ask, because I feel the problem, and it's so funny, we were just talking about Wendy Williams, and I think she's another example of the thing that made her famous is now the thing that they've used to trap her. I think the qualities of BPD or the symptoms are things that can help you be an actor,
100%.
that can help you have the drive and like have the charisma to become famous. How do you balance trying to live like a healthy mental life with being an actor, fame, building fame and acting? Like, how do you find that conflict?
You're so right, because it does have benefits. It's like, you know, you with identity issues and having these things where you're trying on all these different hats and molding and adapting to different situations, you do sometimes, it can be great being thrown in these situations and being able to find your people, but it also, you can have a lack of sense of self and a lack of like, who am I at the core? And I think for so long I was losing that. Like I was just shape shifting to different people and different situations and relationships. And I think it kind of goes with like the people that I have that are really stuck by me, because like I was a really bad friend to everybody that's still in my life right now. And the fact that they have stuck around and put up with my shit and, you know, kind of course corrected for me and been like, you can't act like this. You can't do this, but we're not going to turn our back on you. That was like, I mean, that has been I'm so grateful for that. And I don't even know if I'm answering your question at all right now, but
no, yeah, you are.
But just like, that's kind of the point in the title of this book. Like, yes, it's very tongue in cheek and funny and self-aware and self-deprecating, but that is that balance of like, so desperately wanting this fame and validation. And then that moment that I finally get it, I'm like, it's too much. I can't handle it. It's too vulnerable. It's too scary. And I think that the thing I go back to is, like I said, like those people, like those core people, because none of this is real and everything is fleeting and nothing really matters anymore. And it's just like, you can get so lost in this bullshit. Yeah. And I think I got a taste of that. And I got a taste of like weird public figure virality fame before I became like an actor in a weird way. I mean, I was working, but like,
no, but that clip was so big.
Yeah, it was like a weird shift of like, my work didn't speak for itself. It was like, suddenly you're the 15 seconds of fame kid, or you're the kid getting married on a reality television, which is my fault. I mean, I'm totally guilty of it.
You must laugh now looking around Hollywood and going, oh, all you bitches have BPD. Like, I mean, you must be looking around being like, stigma, it's the whole town.
I mean,
you look like every other bitch in here.
There's a lot of undiagnosed peeps for sure that I'm like, how has nobody told you?
Well, it seems like that's what you have that they don't have, right? Like no man. Like I feel like people get surrounded by yes men before they.
Yeah, it feels like a level of self-awareness, because I think that there is so much in Hollywood that rewards outlandish behavior. Like, I don't even have to name names. There are so many people who...
But what if you name names?
No,
to name some people you think need a better entourage.
There's a lot. There is a lot.
There's just so many people who like get rewarded and rewarded and rewarded for like, people love when they go on a rant on Twitter, like freak out about things in public. And then suddenly, like, there's just like one moment where it's like, well, actually, it's a bit much. And this person shouldn't work anymore. And you're like, well, why? Because we loved this yesterday.
Exactly. It's like such a statement on like where we are as a society and like culture and how we all want to jump on the bandwagon. Like, it's like we all want to take somebody down. And I experience that. And I talk about like being the hero of the internet for 1 minute, and then the next minute, like just being absolutely tortured by everybody. And like,
because as soon as they know who you are, they'll find something.
They'll find something. And then you go through it and you get past it. And it's like, that happened. And there's like some kind of liberation on it, because everyone that's in this public facing world, like someone is going to turn on you once. Someone is going to do it. It's just going to happen. And if you're a decent person, if you're not a horrible, toxic, like Harvey Weinstein, like you're going to bounce back.
Even
he might be coming back.
I don't know.
You never know. One thing that I think a lot of people, and you experience at the beginning of your career, is kind of just like, you wrote this for attention. It's like fame for the sake of fame. Like, in order to get your foot in the door, you just have to be known.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've kind of hit a pinnacle of an awareness about you that you've said now you want to be a little bit more intentional with your career. Like, what are your goals?
I mean, writing a book wasn't very intentional. I'm contradicting myself constantly. I just think maybe there was this part of me that was fueling this dark part of my brain that was like feeding off these negative comments about me and wanting to see it and validate, like, oh, that is true. I have always thought that about myself. I am a piece of shit. I am this and that. I am like that. Part of me, I will say another thing that I learned from this is like diminishing that. I'm still going to definitely read reviews about this book. I'm still going to, hear what people have to say and hopefully want to hear where people connect to it. Am I going to like look down a Twitter spiral and type my name in and look down my comments? No, I can't do that anymore. Like, so there's growth, but I'm always going to be that, seeking for validation but maybe now it's just in the right direction, you know, like for what kind of attention I'm searching for, and not letting it hold so much weight. Like, it's okay if some random guy from Ohio hates me and like thinks I look like Vicky from the Real Housewives of the Orange County. Like,
oh my God, they're going to say Vicky from Fairly Odd Parents. And I was like, oh,
that'd be sick.
Awesome.
Dye my hair pink. Like, hell yeah. No, I think it's like we all want to be seen. We all want attention in some ways. We all want to be validated. We all want to be told we're doing a good job. And now I'm not searching for it from Jerry from Ohio on Twitter anymore.
Yeah. And for that revelation, we can thank the Nazis.
You can thank the Nazis.
Trains and Lukas Gage's sense of self.
I mean, that is just so crazy that he stole my name.
That's
I
really
underlined.
funny.
I have a question. Speaking of names, I underlined a quote, and I wanted to ask you about it.
Please do.
In relationships, my happiness becomes entirely dependent on how much attention I receive from them. I hate admitting that, but it's true. I'm a needy little bitch, but it's not me. It's Lukas with a C, my dark passenger. I struggle daily to disconnect between the person I am inside and the one the disorder forces out into the world. I found it interesting that you see Lukas with a C as your dark passenger and not your chosen name, Lukas with a K, because that seems like the person you're trying to like use to distinguish yourself and be known. Like, here's a way to stand out. It seems like the instinct that would bring you to change your name.
Right. Is that?
Yeah.
No, I guess that makes sense, and it could be used both ways in a way. But also, I feel like because it's my birth name, you know, it's because like the thing that I that's on my birth certificate. I think I do see your point, though. Maybe I need to do a little editing in here. But
you got 24 in the last. You got 11 hours.
Is this an art? Yeah. It's gonna change.
Okay, one of them has to be the evil one.
One of them is evil. No, yeah, that's a good point. I think. Let's go to the editors and change it. What was your favorite part of the book?
My favorite part of the book, I did love like you and Bunny and Brody.
I was going to say, I love Bunny and Brody.
I just watched a movie last night that was like all iPhone, first person, kind of like high school. I felt you did a great job of talking about what it is to be like crazy in high school and just so fucking hormonal and emotional. And I really thought those scenes of like being a beach kid. I am from New Jersey, but there was something there's something universal in that San Diego doing drugs on the 100%. Beach.
Yeah, there's like a line I say where something about like when drugs are fun and
exactly,
like
and there is such a difference, and you know it in yourself.
Like a gulch next to a Walgreens is what we did in the Midwest, but I feel like that's if I lived in San Diego, it would have been a beach.
Yeah, it would have been a beach and a CVS, but I think that like that nostalgic little time capsule of that moment in time, and like I love that era. I miss that time, and it was right when it was like Facebook and some people had Instagram, but it wasn't a thing as it is now. And there was a lot with all the darkness in the childhood and adolescent stuff. There was so much fun and there was so much experimenting, and there was like, I wanted to make it like feel like the West Coast Larry Clark, like Kids for SoCal.
Well, it felt very much like looking back on a time where things were chaotic, but now you know everything turned out fine because you turned out like it's fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you can look back on this time of just like chaos and uncertainty and like a need for attention and like a need to like see a path forward. And now you know there was one.
Yeah.
Whereas now, kind of like in the midst of fame at the end of this book, it's kind of like anything could happen.
Right. Yeah. No, I think, I don't want to get too deep.
Go for it.
Go
Get
crazy.
But I do think that the drugs were a byproduct of like wanting connection.
Yeah.
And wanting to be seen and wanting to like with those girlfriends I had and those twins that I had, like wanting to feel like a unit with somebody. Like that's
family almost.
Yeah, it was like a thing that brought us together in a deranged way. Like even like the, selling drugs and being a team with that girlfriend and going to Tijuana, like that was like I wanted to be Bonnie and Clyde. I wanted to have my person.
I have to say, I respect the hell out of Kaylee. Normally when a high school girl gets called a bad girl, it's like because she like kind of looks like a slut.
She like has a belly button piercing.
Yeah. She really was in and out of juvie. That was bad. She had no fucking fear of anything.
No, she
really was
fearless.
Running drugs to and from Tijuana.
Yeah, no, she was in and out of juvie like 12 times by the time we were 18, and like just did not give a shit. And she's doing great right now.
Good.
We talk all the time.
That's awesome.
Thank God.
I will say another favorite part is your relationship with your grandma. I mean, that was really sweet. And I'm sorry she's passed. But when she said, of course I knew you were bi, I was like, I didn't know grandmas knew about bi.
No, she was ahead of her time. She was like just one of the coolest people ever. And honestly, another reason why I'm here of just like a parental figure that most people, when you like a kid tells a parent they want to act or be a writer or whatever, they like make fun of you or they just think it's cute or whatever. Like she was like, oh no, you're going to camp. She didn't know I was going to get molested at it, but she was like, you're going to acting camp and you're going to get these headshots on Craigslist. Like she took that seriously and was one of the biggest inspirations to me.
I also think low key, your grandma and your mom kind of being somewhat aware of your desire to act and being fully in support of it, but also not exploiting you as a child star is kind of incredible. I think being that close to LA, we always talk about this. There are a lot of things a parent can do to not turn their kid into a business.
Yeah.
And
nurture them.
And nurture
you can
them.
Just nurture them.
Yeah, no.
You can be supportive of them without taking away their childhood. And it feels like they did.
They totally did.
Acting camp is the right call.
Acting camp is the right call. Letting me go on my first audition, like as a teenager when I'm not a little kid. Like I see these kids sometimes on set and I want to give them a hug and be like, oh, is your parent making you do this? Or do you actually, and you can tell the ones that actually want to be there and love it. And I think they were like, I have a job and too much to do to drive your ass around to auditions, but let's see if this is just a phase or something that you're actually going to want to do. And I used to be like, I remember going to LA at 18 and being like, I'm so old. Like everyone in my acting class is on a TV show and I'm not. Like, why didn't you let me do it as a kid? And I'm like, thank God. Thank God I didn't have that happen to me. And I was never good on I did one Disney Channel thing and the director was like, you're not a Disney kid, dude. You look way too tired.
You've written a beautiful book, a phenomenal memoir. Congratulations. Do you have any writing projects coming up or is there anything you're looking forward to?
I have a project that I'm producing that's coming out next month. I have another thing that I'm writing that is going to be announced soon. It's called Loser.
Okay.
And another author is going to be the star in the book. Maybe one that you guys have interviewed on here. I'll let you find. Yeah. And
it was either her or Patrick Stewart.
I mean, could have been Patrick.
Could have been pretty cool, actually.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. And then I'm writing my second screenplay was finally greenlit and purchased, and that's really exciting.
Oh my God, cute.
Yeah, I'm going to continue to write and hopefully not do another memoir for like 10 to 20 years.
Oh exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting. Well, thank you so much for coming. Congrats.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me. Big fan.
On sale now. Grab it.
Get it. And if you don't like reading, go listen to it with my voice.
Is it your voice?
Yes, it's my voice. It has to be. Come on.
We just had somebody pitch us. They're like, and with AI, these guys don't even have to really read their own book. I go, if you're not willing to read your own life story,
why would anyone read your book if you couldn't even read your own book?
It's kind of hard to do it, low-key. No.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.